Vancouver broke the rules of transit. When its urban rail system launched in 1985, it was neither a heavy commuter-focused metro nor a tram-based light rail. Instead, Vancouverites were given the Skytrain, a driverless light metro straight from the future, with small, frequent trains serving nodes of transit-oriented development. It's been held up as one of the best transit networks in North America. So in the years that followed, why haven't we seen more Skytrains elsewhere in this continent? Was there something special about Vancouver that allowed such a synergy of transit and development to exist? And why am I suddenly craving a layered cookie bar? The only way to find out is to go for a ride. Located on the Pacific coast of British Columbia, Vancouver has the third largest metro area in Canada, and it's growing fast. From downtown, 2 SkyTrain lines radiate out to various urban and suburban communities. The third branches off the system a little ways from downtown. Tonight, my friend Josh and I are exploring the system, and we'll be starting at Waterfront Station downtown, riding the Expo Line to Main Street's Science World. Waterfront Station's head house was opened in 1914 by the Canadian Pacific Railway. Passing through the entryway, we find a plaque from the Skytrain's 1985 opening, then descend to the platform to find a Bombardier Innovia Metro Mark III train waiting for us. Since there's no driver, we take a seat by the rear window. This tunnel was originally used by Canadian Pacific passenger trains before it was recycled for rapid transit. As you can see, there is a wide structure in the middle of the tracks, which allows SkyTrain to pull itself along using a magnet, rather than traditional rotating motors on wheels. This is known as linear induction motor technology. The Expo Line was opened in 1985, just months before the launch of Expo 86, that year's World's Fair, which was themed in part around the future of transportation. Around this time, the Urban Transportation Development Corporation in Ontario was developing their new intermediate capacity transit system technology, and Vancouver was the perfect place to showcase it. Thus, it became the basis of the fledgling SkyTrain system, so called because of its prominent elevated sections. So this is Main Street Science World. I've been told that you can get some very good exterior shots of the trains from here. Since the Vancouver SkyTrain is computer-controlled, trains run incredibly close together, with frequencies as low as every 2 minutes on the Expo Line. Stations are also very compact, and often blend in with our urban environment. From street level, we get a great view of trains rounding the curve to and from downtown.
Oh, you got Mark 1s on? No, sorry, I thought those were Mark 1s. Not bad.
Back up on the platform, we find a train of Mark I cars, SkyTrain's original rolling stock, which will be riding back to Granville Station. Like the system itself, these cars were developed by the Urban Transportation Development Corporation, and they're now passing 40 years of operation. If you feel like you've seen them before, that's because they share a design with the People Mover cars in Detroit and the former Scarborough RT fleet in Toronto. We pass a unique advertisement in the tunnel and arrive at Granville.
Oh, this is a very weird ad. I saw this on Instagram.
That's funny.
Invest in the future, whatever you think it is. If they're going with grabbing attention by being weird, they're certainly doing that.
This station is built with a stacked platform design, and we head downstairs just in time to catch an outbound train, which will take us down to Joyce Collingwood Station for dinner. We pass another Mark I train and a brand new Mark V train from Alstom, then fly along through the urban sprawl, coming close to the system's top speed of 50 miles per hour. And on the right, there's another train. This is the Millennium Line, SkyTrain's second line, which opened in 2002. It currently runs from the Expo Line to the city's northeast, with a future subway extension to the west serving the Broadway corridor. We arrive at the interchange station with the Millennium Line and roll ever onward. Nanaimo Station draws its name from Nanaimo Street, which is named after the city of Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, which is home to a famous layered cookie dessert called the Nanaimo Bar. It's here that the front window becomes available, and we get to enjoy the best views on SkyTrain. We're now running on former British Columbia Electric Railway right-of-way, which carried interurban cars until the 1950s. We pass another Mark V and arrive at Joyce Collingwood, our destination. This station was built in an industrial area. Now, it's surrounded by apartment towers, commercial development, and bus connections. Many SkyTrain stations have this level of development, but Joyce Collingwood was one of the first to receive it. Before we continue, a word from this video's sponsor. Well, getting sick on the way back from my Amtrak trip over Memorial Day weekend was not on my 2026 bingo card, but here I am in the Metropolitan Lounge trying to get some rest thanks to this week's video sponsor, Manta Sleep. This is the Manta Sleep sound mask, and it comes with several interesting features. It has a nice wide strap that feels like a nice little hug around my head, and it comes with these eye cups that have little cushions around them to prevent pretty much any light from coming into my eyes, allowing me to get some nice rest as I'm waiting for my next train to take me home to New England. This is the Manta Sleep sound mask, which also comes with Bluetooth speakers in the headband and little controls on the front, so I can listen to music if I want to. And thanks to Manta Sleep, I am able to rest and recover here in the Metropolitan Lounge and eventually on my train back home. Calcadon, if you wanted to purchase a Manta Sleep mask like this at the link in the description, what discount code should you use?
Let me tell you something. Use the code WELL. Click on it, link on it, and then you'll get your Manta. And also, by the way, this is paparazzi, okay? I'm famous now. I'm an influencer's wife. You can't.
Anyways, we jump on a bus which takes us down to Kingsway. From here, we walk a short distance to Wong's Shanghai Cuisine for some much needed food. Seriously, shout out to Josh for finding this place.
So I'm having a low blood sugar, and I asked if they had any soda, and they said no, but they have pop. Forgot, it's in Canada.
After dinner, it's time to catch my flight back to the East Coast. We start by boarding one of Vancouver's rapid bus lines, an express service that takes us from Kingsway to Oakwood 41st Avenue Station. This station's TOD is still being built, and we have to wade through construction to make it to the Canada line. This is the third Skytrain line, opened in 2009 in time for the 2010 Winter Olympics. Unlike the Expo and Millennium lines, the Canada line doesn't use linear induction motors, operating instead with conventional trains. But these are only 2 cars long, with short station platforms built to match, proving not every subway has to be massive, at least as long as computer-controlled trains come every few minutes. A train arrives and we shoot through the tunnel before emerging to stop at Marine Drive, which is surrounded by apartment towers. A bridge takes us over the Fraser River, and we pass the line's yard and pull into Bridgeport Station. A few minutes later, we're off again, splitting off of the Richmond branch and turning west. We cross the Fraser again onto Sea Island and make multiple stops, serving areas near the airport. Then, at last, we're running alongside the apron and pulling into the station for Vancouver International Airport. A crowd of passengers boards the train. It departs for the city, and I depart for home. So how did Vancouver pull off this transit miracle? And why haven't we seen the same thing elsewhere in North America? After riding the Skytrain and talking with Dennis from Movement, Vancouver's transit advocacy group, I think I have an answer. The Expo of '86 was the perfect time to roll out futuristic transit technology, and automated light metro happened to be readily available from a Canadian company. There was external motivation to put in something bigger than a light rail. Then, Skytrain was installed along a useful route, and people liked it so much they largely supported expansion of the system in the following decades. Meanwhile, Vancouver has seen rapid growth in recent years, but has limited land to build stuff on. The whole region is boxed in by mountains, the ocean, and the US border, along with a strict greenbelt around the region's edge to preserve farmland. Often the only way to build is up. Skytrain stations have thus become nodes for transit-oriented development, thanks to a top-down development approach with strict building codes often requiring active frontage and thinner towers to allow light down to the street.
So, with the general success of Skytrain, why aren't we seeing more Skytrains? Like, I know we have the Ontario line, we have the REM, we have Honolulu. I know Trent Urbano was like trying to do Skytrain mixed with BART, but why do you think that despite its enormous success in Vancouver, it hasn't really caught on elsewhere?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, I guess the first question is like, what is Skytrain, right? Like, it is a combination of mostly elevated guideway operation. If there's a space to put it on the ground or a space to put it underground, then we'll do it. But like really trying to save money by putting the train in the air. In addition to it, in our formula of Skytrain, it's a linear induction motor, which is pretty weird and niche. And in addition to that, it is automated operation. And in addition to that, it is like slightly narrower trains than a normal like subway width train. If you take each individual one of those pieces, like probably the linear induction motor hasn't gone very far, but automated operation, I feel like people are really starting to see it as beneficial and take over like some of those systems that you listed. The elevated operation too, I think is catching on a bit more. Again, that one's subject to local politics. Like in Montreal, they proposed the REM de l'Est, like the next phase of REM that was going to be elevated, and that local community just like lost their mind. They were like, no, we can't have elevated SkyTrain, blah, blah, blah. And all of us here were going like, don't worry, like you're going to love it. It's going to be great. But they ended up blocking the whole project. I think there are elements of it that are taking off. The evolution of SkyTrain that has seemed to have gotten the most traction, like the closest relative to REM and Ontario Line, is the Canada Line, which is different from the rest of the SkyTrain system. The Canada Line doesn't have linear induction motors. It's the normal width of a regular subway car, but it's just really short trains, much, much shorter than the other SkyTrain lines. When you make the train really short but really frequent, you can make the stations really tiny. And that was a huge cost savings. That was kind of the big innovation of the Canada Line. And so I kind of see that manifesting in the REM and the Ontario Line. And I see a lot of people talking about it as like a way forward for a lot of North American cities that are really like struggling with the cost of building transit. Like, oh, Canada Line was really cheap. We can kind of emulate that.
A lot of things had to go right for automated metro and extreme TOD to work in Vancouver, and a lot of people had to be on the same page to make it work. Replicating Vancouver's success would require a similar level of forward thinking, synergy, and budget. It can't happen overnight. But thanks to the work Vancouver has put into its urban rail over the last 40 years, cities all over North America have a stellar transit network to look up to and maybe get some ideas on how to build just a little bit better. Special thanks to Dennis for helping me out with this video. Check out his Vancouver advocacy group Movement in the description below. I'll see you all next week.
Did someone say Vancouver Sky?